Python supports four kinds of arguments. The first one is the positional argument, second one is the keyword arguments, and the third one is the default arguments, and the fourth one is the variable length arguments. Positional arguments are based on the position in which the order in which you have given. So the same order will be taken into the formal arguments here in the function definition. So let me explain you this. So this is the function call. The name of the function is fun, and I have passed 10, 20 into this particular function. So 10, 20 are the actual arguments. So how these actual arguments are taken into the formal arguments? The formal arguments are x and y. Since 10 is in the first actual argument, so this first will go into the formal argument. So what is first in the formal argument? X is first in the formal argument. So they will go according to the position. So the next will go into the second one. The third will go into the third formal argument. So this is what is called as positional arguments. Positional arguments you have seen in your C language. So let us look into another kind of argument, which is keyword argument, which is not there in C programming, which is there in Python. So what are keyword arguments? Keyword arguments are named arguments. So the name given to them are the named arguments or values that when passed into a function are identified by specific parameter name. So we are giving a name. So just look into this display over here. So I said x is equal to 23. So now this 23 is having a name. Okay, so a variable name associated with this. So the variable name is x. Even here 78 is having a variable associated, which is y. Y is equal to 78 we said. Z is equal to 90 we said. So when we are associating the names with some parameters names, then there won't be any confusion over here. In the previous case, I am not giving any parameters, but based on the position, the values are taken into the formal arguments. But here, since I am specifically telling that x is this much, y is this much, and z is this much, the order in which the positions are not having any importance here. The order of the arguments is not at all important, because I am specifically telling what is x and what is y and what is z. So such kind of assignment wherein I am saying x is equal to 23 and y is equal to 78 and z is equal to 90 like this, this is called as the keyword arguments or the named arguments. Named arguments is self-explanatory. I am giving a name to the argument. And number of arguments should match. Here in the function definition I am having 3 arguments and I am giving here 2 arguments, then that is an error anyway. And the keyword name also should match. The former arguments names and here the keyword name should match. So all this you need to keep in mind. I cannot say I have z, x, y over here, and here I cannot give a, b, c and all that, because the name of the parameter should match. So this is regarding the keyword and the named arguments. So let us look into the keyword arguments or the named arguments. So we'll take the display method. So I have given def display. So this display is taking the arguments. So I'm saying x comma y comma z. First I'll show you this positions one. So I'm just saying print, okay, and I'm saying x is equal to, then I say comma x. Right. Okay, so this is my function. I'm making a function call over here. To make the function call, I need to pass the arguments. If it was positional arguments, I need to be very careful. So I am saying x is equal to 20, then 10. If I say x is equal to 10, I have to give 10 only in the first place. If y is equal to 20, I have to give 20 only in the next place, because the second argument is y there. If it is 15, if z is 15, I have to give it in this order only. So 10 will be assigned to x, 20 will be assigned to y, and 15 will be assigned to z. So you can see that in the output. And very clearly see here. This is an example of positional arguments. Now let us take the example of keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are like your dictionary pair, like there is a keyword associated with a value. even if the order of the arguments inside the function call is not mandatory. So say I am having 15 over here. What is a variable that should take 15 is z. So I'm saying z is equal to. So this is how I give the keyword arguments. Keyword arguments means that I'm assigning it with a variable name that should match with the function, variable name in the function. So I'm saying z is equal to 15. And then followed by, I'm saying x is equal to 10. Followed by, I'm saying y is equal to 20. So how I have given the values? I have given the values in different order, some order, but still the values will be taken 10, 20 and 15 to x, y and z. So you can see that very clearly over here. So x is given 10, even if the order over here is not in the same positional order, but it directly takes because x and x are matching. Say for example, I'm saying a over here. So I just have taken y and I said a over here. Okay, can you see the error over here? So it is saying that I have got an unexpected keyword argument A. So it is where everybody, can you see that on your screens, girls? Everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see this error on the screen? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is saying I got an unexpected keyword argument A because A is not matching with the argument that I have given in display method. So it is very important that these keys match. X and X should match. X should be there in the function definition also. Then only it will be taking those values. So this is the concept of the keyword arguments. Let me tell you another example. Let me give you another example. Say that I'm just having two arguments like this. I said X is equal to 10. And later on I'm saying 20. Okay, so here I gave a combination of the keyword arguments and non-keyword arguments. The arguments without a key are called as non-keyword arguments. The arguments with the keyword are called as keyword arguments. Let me show you the output, what you get. Did it give me an output? No, it didn't give me an output. What it is showing me, it is showing me a syntax error. What is the syntax error is that it is saying non-keyword argument after keyword argument. So this is an error. You cannot have a non-keyword argument after keyword argument. Do something like this. But if I'm saying, okay, if I say 10 comma y is equal to 20, now let us see what the program does. Now it is assigning the first, so that is a syntax rule. Like always your non-keyword arguments should be in the beginning and then your keyword arguments should be end of the call. But they should match. The number of arguments should match. That is a rule from the beginning itself. Is this program clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many kinds of arguments we have seen so far? So what?
Two arguments, ma'am. Keyword argument and a positional argument.
Very good. Okay, so we have seen two arguments so far. The first one is positional and the second one is keyword arguments. So now let us look into the third kind of arguments, which are default arguments. Default values indicate that the function argument will take that value if no argument value is passed during the function call. We are saying that the number of arguments should match. Let us take this example. So in this particular example, I hope everybody can see this example. So where I said I have a display function which is having two arguments, x and y. And in the function call, I have given 5. How many arguments I have given in the function call?
One, ma'am.
How many? I have given one argument. And how many arguments are there in the function? There are two arguments, right?
Two arguments. Yes, ma'am.
Two arguments. Okay, if I didn't give this y is equal to 8, if I did not give this y is equal to 8, it will throw me an error. It will tell me that the number of arguments do not match, which I already have executed and shown it to you when I was explaining regarding the match of the arguments. Since here what I did is, in the function definition, I said y is equal to 8. This is nothing but default arguments, wherein I said y is equal to 8. Now in the function call, when you have a declaration like this, wherein one variable, I am saying y is equal to x. When I have such kind of assignment, okay, inside my function arguments, inside the formal arguments list, then it is considered to be a default argument. It is not an error. It is absolutely valid. Since I didn't give a default argument to x, it is mandatory for me that I pass x. But even if I don't pass y, what it will do is, it will check whether the argument is given or not. If the argument is given, it will take that argument only, because it's a requirement of the calling function. If the argument is not passed by the calling function, it will take this default value. Is this concept clear to everyone? So such kind of arguments are called as default arguments. The default value is assigned by using the assignment operator of the form keyword is equal to value. So here y is the key and 8 is the value. When I get this 8, I'll get this 8 only if the function call is not including that value. If the function call includes that value, the included value only will be taken in the function. You can see these two function calls. The first function call is not having the second argument, which is y. So y argument is not there in the first function call. Now, as soon as this function call is made, the control goes to the function, which is display method, display function, and x and y values are printed. So what it is printing on the output? So it is saying I have passed 5 and x, because this is a positional argument, 5 will be given to x. So x is equal to 5. Now what it is printing for y? It is printing for y the value that I have assigned here, because I didn't pass y. Now let us take a look at the second example, second function call. In the second function call, I have given 100, 200. So there are two arguments. They are positionally aligned. So the first argument will go to x and the second argument will go to y. So here the default value will not be considered. 8 will not be considered. So when I print x, x will be 100 and y will be 200. Is this clear? If I'm not passing that value, then only the default value is considered. If I pass a value, that value only will be considered. Is this concept of default arguments clear to my class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now let us look into some other examples of default arguments. Here, like the rule of your keyword arguments. What is the rule of your keyword arguments? What is the non-keyword arguments should not follow the keyword arguments. Okay, so that is the way, like you also have certain rules with the default arguments. So that rule is that you're having the display method wherein I am saying x is equal to 7 and y. Okay, I have passed 5 over here. So you might be thinking that x is 7 and this 5 will be assigned to y. No, I got an error. What it is saying, non-default arguments follows default arguments. So this should not happen. Okay, when you are giving it inside your function definition, you should always make it a point that non-default arguments come first and then the default arguments. So you cannot have something like this in your program. This is an error. I'm already showing you the error. It is a syntax error, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is another example wherein I have taken the display method. Inside this display function, I have x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 8. But in the function call, I didn't give any arguments. I simply made a function call. So since the actual arguments are missing over here, it will take the default values for x and y. So x is 7, which is the default value, and y is 8, which is a default value. I can have the combination of non-default arguments and default arguments. But the rule is that the non-default arguments should be first and then followed by the default arguments. Is this clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are default arguments, right? So while making a call, what I did, I am just passing X. I'm not passing Y. What will be the output? What will be the output? So this is an example of default arguments. I'm just showing you this. So I have a display function wherein I have X and Y. And the rule is like that non-default arguments should be in the beginning and default arguments should be later. So this is X is the non-default argument. Y is the default argument. X is the non-default argument. Y is the default argument. Can you hear me, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So inside the display function, I am trying to display X and Y. This is the function call, right? Inside the function call, what did I do? I just passed 10. To which variable of the display method 10 will be assigned? To which variable of the display function
X,
10 will
ma'am.
be assigned? 10 will be assigned to X. So that's why I got X is equal to 10. And since I didn't pass any other argument over here in the function call, it will consider the default value of Y. It's raining. Okay, do that. So for, right, I gave only one argument inside the display call. I have given only one argument in the display call. So here what happens is this 10 will be assigned to X. Since I didn't pass any other argument, for Y it will take the default value. This is the syntax of how you give the default arguments. I have to say the keyword is equal to the value. And it has taken 7. Now I'll give Y also. So I have given 2000 for Y. So I have given both the arguments. I have given for X as well as for Y. So in this case, since I have passed 2000 for Y, it will not consider 7. That's why we are calling it as default arguments. Default are nothing but if you don't want to customize it, it will take the default value. Since I want some value for Y, it is taking my value only. It will not consider the default value given. So is this clear to everyone, the default arguments?
Yes, ma'am.
So say I have given Y is equal to 7 and then I said X. Okay, I said X. So it is saying me, it is giving me an error, syntax error. Can you see it on your screens, everybody? I have given the default arguments before the non-default arguments. I have Y is the default argument, right? I have given the default argument followed by a non-default argument. So what it is saying, it is showing me a syntax error. It is saying me non-default argument follows default argument. So this should not be case. Always you need to keep in mind that you are following the syntax carefully. Is this clear, Ma, to everyone in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other case is, I am saying, okay, so in the other case, I'm saying X is equal to some 5 and I'm not passing anything. Okay, both are default arguments itself and I'm not passing anything. So what it is doing, it is saying X is equal to 5 and Y is equal to 7. It is just taking the default values. Because I didn't pass any arguments, it is taking in the default arguments. So this is all regarding the default arguments. So we have seen the positional arguments, we have seen the keyword arguments, and now we have seen the default arguments. So if in your examinations, if there is a question asking you to explain various arguments in a function, you have to explain about the positional arguments, you have to explain the keyword arguments with examples, and also you have to explain the default arguments. And there is one more argument which I'll be discussing now, which is variable length arguments. Variable length arguments you already know, right? We have discussed this variable length arguments, wherein I said like sometimes we do not know the number of arguments needed in advance. When we use the variable length arguments. This is a concept we have seen in tuples, wherein I said like you will be putting an asterisk before the name of the argument. Have you remembered that concept which I have explained in tuples?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, so those are called as variable length arguments. Variable length arguments, you will be mentioning it when you don't know, when we don't know in advance, like the number of arguments that are passed into a function. So Python allows us to do this through certain special syntax, which means that it is like a collectively known as arbitrary arguments, or you also call it as variable length arguments. Variable length arguments are also called as arbitrary arguments. Arbitrary means that so many, okay, I don't know, it varies, okay, so it is in random, so I don't know how many it will be. So that is called as arbitrary arguments. So to represent this arbitrary arguments or variable length arguments, in the function definition, before the parameter name, we'll be putting an asterisk. Okay, so you'll be putting an asterisk in front of the parameter name. The syntax of variable length arguments is this. So I have the def, which indicates that it is a function, and the function name, and then followed by the list of arguments. The list of arguments here, I can also have this variable length arguments and also the other arguments also. Okay, right. So I'm having these things. And then I said function statements and the written expression. So this is the syntax over here, and this is optional. That's why I have put it in square brackets, argument 1, 2, 3, and argument n. All this is optional. I can have the combination of normal arguments as well as the variable length arguments. So this is the syntax, function name, and then followed by the list of arguments. Inside the list of arguments, I can have the normal arguments as well as the variable length arguments. So these are some of the points like we need to understand regarding variable length arguments. The arbitrary number of arguments passed to the function basically forms a tuple. We know this. I explained you when I was talking. This is an application of tuples, right? We saw that in div mod tuples are used, and tuples, it automatically converts the list of values that we have given into tuples before passing into the function. So all the numbers that we have passed, like say I am passing 10 numbers, all these 10 numbers will be converted into a tuple before passing into the function. Inside the function, for loop is used to access these arguments because so many arguments are there. If it is one argument or two arguments or three arguments, you can directly give it as x comma y comma z. But if there are more, if there are more number of arguments, then it is better you give it as a variable length argument. And since there are so many arguments, so many values in the argument, you just need a for loop to access all those elements. The variable length argument is present in the function definition, should be the last in the list of formal arguments. This is again the rule. Whenever you are giving the keyword arguments, always remember that non-keyword arguments should be in the beginning and then the keyword arguments in the function call. And coming to the default arguments, always remember that first you need to have the non-default arguments and then followed by the default arguments. In the similar way, whenever you have this variable length arguments, the variable length arguments should be the last in the list of formal arguments. Formal arguments are the list of variables inside your function definition. So the list of arguments, inside the list of arguments, as in the syntax of this particular variable length arguments, I have shown you. I said I have put it in the square brackets, argument 1 comma argument 2 comma up till argument n. And I said I have put it in square bracket because it's optional. I can have combination of normal arguments and also variable length arguments. So I cannot have I cannot have this variable length arguments followed by normal arguments. That is a syntax error. So always follow the rules of the language. The rule of the language says that first you need to have this formal arguments or the normal arguments, and then followed by the variable length arguments, which means that it should be last in the list of formal arguments. Any formal arguments written of variable length arguments must be keyword only arguments. Okay, so if you are writing something after this variable length arguments, they should be the keyword only arguments. It should not be the normal arguments. So we have a rule over here. First, you need to have the normal arguments, then the variable length arguments, and then followed by the keyword only arguments. These are the rules like you need to keep in mind while writing variable length arguments in your program. So I have written a program over here. So wherein this is a function which is a display function, which is taking a normal argument, which is name, and then followed by the variable length arguments. This function is having two arguments. The first is the normal argument, and the second one is a variable length argument. To represent that it is a variable length argument, I have put an asterisk over here. So this asterisk represents that it is a variable length argument. And see the order in which I have given the arguments. I have given the normal argument first, followed by the variable length arguments. So this is a syntax rule. Inside this display, I have written my logic, wherein I just wanted to print the name, the first normal argument first, and I have used a for loop to iterate through this particular variable length arguments. I said for I in hobbies. So hobbies is the tuple now, right? So I'm accessing the tuple for I in hobbies. Now this hobbies is the tuple. So I'm accessing each and every, it's an iterable object for I in hobbies. So it will be taking each and everything that is made a tuple over here, and each and everything is printed on the screen for me. Now let us look into various types of function calls. I have made 3 function calls over here. Once a function is written, I can call how many ever number of times I want the function. I can call it 10 times or 20 times or 30 times. That's what we understood with the benefit of writing a function. Rather than writing 3 times the same code, what I did is I have called the function. I have written the function only once. And what I did, I am calling this function many times. Okay, right. So I have 3 calls over here. The first one is the display call, wherein I have given 4 arguments over here. So these 4, this Sony, swimming, dancing, and singing, all these 4 are considered to be 4 arguments. The first argument is taken into name because this is positional argument. It will directly go into name. Sony will directly go into the name because this is positional argument. And after that, what happens is I have some group of arguments over here. The rest of the arguments, in case if I have another argument here, then swimming will be assigned to that argument. But here, the other argument is star hobbies. So what it will do is it will group all these arguments, swimming, dancing, singing, into a tuple, and that tuple is now hobbies. Now inside the display, I said print name. So Sony's hobbies. So I just have formatted my print statement accordingly. So I said Sony's hobbies are. So the name is taken, right? So I said name and then hobbies are. And then I have iterated through this hobbies using a for loop. For I in hobbies, I said. So each and everything will be taken. And since this is a tuple, there is an ordering. So I said print I, so it will be printing swimming, dancing, and singing on the screen for me. So this is the answer for the first function call, for the first display call. Coming to the second function call, I have given only 2 arguments over here. So which will be taken into hobbies, wherein this will be formed into a tuple and taken into hobbies. Asha will go to name. So name will get Asha because this is positional argument. So I said Asha's hobbies are coding and mine. So I got that answer over here. So this is the second function call. And the third function call, wherein I didn't give anything over here. So this is not an error, girls. I just wanted to show you that it is not. It is thundering over here and lightning. Let me close the door. So where are we, Ma? Where are we? We are discussing about the last, Meena, the last display method. So we are discussing the last display method. In the last display method, I didn't give any anything after Yami. Yami will be gone to the name because this is positional argument, and I didn't give the other arguments over here. It is not an error with the variable length arguments. It means that I didn't give anything over here. But for the positional arguments and all that, I definitely have to, the number of arguments should match. But since here star hobbies is the variable length arguments, even if I don't give it, it is not a mistake. Okay, it's not an error. So it directly takes name. So it says nothing will go into hobbies. It's an empty tuple. Then Yami's hobbies are, and then it's not printing anything because it's an empty tuple. So this is regarding variable length arguments. Let me show you this execution, and after that I'll wind off the session. What did I say? I said name, comma, and then star H. Okay, so this is the colon. Then I said print
Hobbies.
name. Okay, so print hobbies. Okay, so then I'm saying for I in H. Okay, and then I'm saying print I. Okay, so this is what I have written, right? Yes. Okay, I want to put in yes. Okay, then hobbies are okay. Fine. Is it okay now? Okay, fine.
Okay, ma'am.
And yeah. Okay, hobbies are, and I just have now I will be taking the second display, first display. So inside the first display, I'm saying Sudha, and then I'm giving the list of hobbies. Okay, so maybe I'll just give A, B, C, and all that because it's okay. You can understand, right? Okay, so
Yes,
the
ma'am.
hobbies are A, B, C, and then I'm saying in the second display, I'm just saying Shika, and then I'm giving some hobbies. So I'm saying A, and then I'm saying B. Okay. In the third display, and I'm simply giving the name. Okay. So I am saying Gautami. Okay. That's it. I am not giving anything else. So let us see the execution of this program. Here, asterisk H is nothing but your variable length arguments. So what is this program? This program is to show you variable length arguments. Variable length arguments. Okay, right. So what is a variable length argument over here? Star H is nothing but the variable length arguments. To indicate that it is a variable length argument, we have put a star in front of H. Okay, let me execute this program to you. So you can see very clearly that it is giving me the output. So Sudha's hobbies are ABC, Shika's hobbies are AB, and Gautami's hobbies are nothing because I didn't give anything. It's an empty tuple. Okay, so this is how you can use variable length arguments inside your program. Is this program clear to everyone and the output?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll end the session now. It's already 3:50, so I'll end my class now. We'll continue in tomorrow's class with more concepts and functions. Is